What's up, you bunch of badasses? It's your host, BZAR. Now, today we are reviewing something that is extremely close to my heart. Mostly because I love comics and I grew up reading this book, and the fact that it now has an actual adaptation to it has blown my freaking mind about what DC animation is capable of, and not only that, but what they can do. We are reviewing Reign of Supermen. Oh my god, I have literally never been more excited to review a freaking adaptation film. Last year, when they announced they were doing Death of Superman again, I freaked out because they'd already done Death of Superman once and they did a terrible fucking job. Then, I don't know what caused this. It could have been God himself from above. Somebody told DC to go back and do Death of Superman properly and make it almost identical to the way it is in the comics. It was the best thing they ever chose to do. I grew up reading Death of Superman. It was the first comic book I ever read. It is the reason why I have such an obsession with story writing. When I was a kid, I had Death of Superman and all 4 variant covers of the Superman independent titles: Eradicator, Steel, Superboy, and Cyborg Superman. All of them were great. They were all very interesting 90s comics to read about a world without Superman and how people coped with it. This movie encompasses all of those emotions into an hour and a half animated adaptation. First of all, Death of Superman, I'm not going to review on this channel because it's a ways back and you can just count this as a review. It gets 5 Fs, man. It was a great film. It's awesome. It's so good. It's so good. It is almost identical to the comic books, but updated using the new 52 roster of the Justice League and everybody who we know about so far versus Doomsday, and he beats that ass. It's great. I think the best thing that I loved about Reign of Superman is the way that it combines the comic book version, the story, with what's going on in the universe they've created. I think one of the major things that I loved about Reign of Superman is that this movie is so close in comparison to the comic book. In Reign of Superman, since we're just going to get into it, man, Superman's dead. And the world is trying to figure out how to cope with that. Watching people deal with the fact of Lois Lane trying to uncover what's going on, which is something right out of the comics, to everything else that's going on is almost it's perfect. It's perfect. There's no other way to describe it. It is exactly what you want when you're looking at a comic book adapted film. The plot of Reign of Superman is simple. Lois Lane is in the process of investigating the 4 Supermen who have appeared across Metropolis in the wake of Superman's death. We've got 4 different guys coming out of the woodworks, all claiming to be Superman. We've got Superboy, we've got Steel, we've got Cyborg Superman, and we've got my favorite guy, the Eradicator. Each one of them has their own unique connection to Superman, but each one of them is not Superman. And they're all trying to convince the public that they are the next best representation of what Superman would have wanted in the world going forward. So it really does show the different avenues of how people really see Superman there. The other major thing that I really liked about Reign of Superman is the animation itself. It's so good. It's very similar to how they've done the stylings for Young Justice, and I've always said that Young Justice is by far their best show since Teen Titans. It's amazing, and I love DC's animated movie department. They've had bangers since I think 2014. Everything they've put out has been solid hits. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 films that aren't great, but we're talking 3 films a year consistently for 5 years, and all of them be good except for 2 or 3. That's a Marvel status. That's really good, and I think that the DC animated universe goes unspoken about as one of the major good parts of the DC marketplace when it comes to content. Now, I know you guys are wondering, well, okay, Brian, you said all that, so should I give a fuck, or should I give a fuck and watch it? Most definitely. I think that when it comes to this film, Reign of Superman, Death of Superman are both worth the watch. That's getting the rating of 4 Fs. Film fantastic, full of fun. You're gonna see that right here. It's a great film though. I think that both films definitely are gonna get the same rating, and you should go watch them both. I think that most people, if they gave this film a chance, would really enjoy it. I'm your host, BZAR. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the BZAR review. Peace. Speak the truth, abandon all lies.